What's up, everybody? It's Guyot, and
Beholden Yeti.
this is gonna be the first ever video that I've ever made. We're back at it again with the tier list. This time, Nazi zombie maps. We're just gonna be ranking them, and our decision is final. If you have a different opinion, fuck you.
Yeah, basically, full disclosure, these are zombie maps ranging from World at War to Black Ops 2, because we did not bother with the last two Black Ops. We don't know what those are like. They probably all suck because by the end of Black Ops 2, they were all too complicated anyway, so. You didn't put in the Dead Ups Arcade one?
Well, I mean, that's unfair, because that's like SS tier.
Fair enough. Okay.
Nocturne on Tootin.
Nocturne Toten, the one that started it all.
I would say experience, like the whole overall, like finishing the campaign, and then all of a sudden this happening, like that experience was A tier.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
think,
map itself, though. Let's talk about it. Alright, so it's the first one, so there's no perks. That wasn't even thought of yet. Which, I mean, that's understandable. It's hard. It's the only map, I think, that doesn't have any perks. Except for when it was released for Black Ops 1. And they gave it Mule Kick. But, regardless, you still go down in 2 hits, so that's a lot of money for a gun that's not very secure, you know what I mean? The map is very small. It's nostalgic, but nostalgia doesn't always deserve, like, top tier shit, you know what I mean? I'm thinking C tier.
C tier. See,
Yes.
I was thinking C tier, but you gotta admit it did introduce it in the mystery box, which is a great mechanic, and that kept it fun.
Mhm.
And also, just going from the campaign to that was so unexpected that I think it should probably get B tier.
Alright, I'll agree to that. I mean,
Next one.
alright, Verrupt. Introduced perks. That's about it. You still couldn't go outside and it was very tight. However, the aesthetics of the map were very cool, very scary. We played it the other day and you can hear some banging on the walls and stuff of screaming people and give you a good scare.
Yeah, I was really scared.
I do like the idea of if you are doing a 4-man, you spawn in groups of 2s and you have to meet up when the power turns on. That in itself is pretty cool.
Maybe a little bit too easy to meet up.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say, if an experienced player, I mean, you're gonna meet up with each other in like 3 rounds. You know,
yeah, it's pretty easy.
the idea is there and it's cool, and I think unless they've done it in the newer Call of Duties, then it's something that they never tried again, which it's a shame because I feel like it could have been really cool.
Yeah, and it's like their first map. Like they were definitely just like trying something new. They were just like, let's just try this, and I think it was pretty good. Only maybe wish that it was a bigger map that was harder to reconnect because I like the challenge. I think I like that.
I do too. A lot of people didn't, but I'm a big fan.
I can see what people are saying though. If you're online playing by yourself and then you queue up and then you have a really bad teammate and it's really hard. But I don't know. Even if I'm by myself, I can handle double the zombies in my half of the map. But I'm not horrible at the game like some people. So if you didn't like this map, you're bad at the game. What are we giving it?
I would give it a B, but here's the but. I would give it a B, except for the fact that there was that stupid room you could get like a mounted BAR,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it costs so much money to get in
Yeah, I
there.
think
It's
it
just
was, like,
useless.
I think the door itself was like 700 and the BAR was like 1350 or something.
I think the door may have been a K. So for that, in my eyes, it's a C.
I gotcha. They were trying something new. I think that trying something new is really cool. I think that if they did the whole room splitting up being better, the map was a little bit larger, I would say it would be B tier. But yeah, I'll say C tier with that one as well. Shinonuma, this map, it's really spread out. So they realized
first
that they
time-
wanted to branch it out with this one.
You could go outside, which was a big deal. Everyone was so excited that they could go outside of the building that they were defending. It introduced dogs, which has been a mechanic throughout most of the maps, which are, pretty much a guaranteed max ammo every 5 or 6 rounds, which is super nice when you're getting into those late rounds.
I think
It introduced my personal favorite wonder weapon, the Wonder Waffle. It was unreliable, but that's what kind of made it cool. Like you could kind of fuck yourself with it, but it was still cool. So
I think that on this map they also kind of started to get an idea for what they wanted to do and explain how the zombies came to be with the meteorite and the element 115 and
the story started to form.
Yeah, you could hit the radio.
They started adding a story to it.
But I would say honestly it's a larger size map, but they also tried something different with the perks being randomized. I thought that was cool. I think the map was almost too spread out. Like I feel like a good map is a map that you can get from point A to point B really consistently, and I feel like this map was just super inconsistent depending on like if you got down in an unlucky spot, like there's just no way that realistically your teammates could save you. So I'm gonna say C tier for this one as well.
I'll agree to that. Yeah. Added some cool stuff. They were just kind of expanding on it. Didn't really. It was just another step towards how it goes now.
Hmm.
Okay, time for the first Big Daddy. This map pretty much changed everything. The Pack-a-Punch,
Yeah,
the teleporters.
I think you're completely right. I think this introduced teleporter. This one introduced the pack-a-punch mechanic. So because people are started getting good, and now people are running that issue where the weapon's damage falls off whenever there's still a challenge. So instead of it being like a challenge to stay alive, it's just a grind to go through all the weapons. But now you can pack-a-punch them and get that extra kick that you need to keep going and keep the game challenging, rewarding, but not just a grind.
Yeah, I mean the map layout is super well done. There's plenty of train spots. There's also plenty of tight corridors for it to make it kind of like a challenge to kind of dangerous to run through. But that kind of makes it fun,
Yeah,
can all be open.
it makes it fun whenever you're able to get through those tight spots and do those things.
Yeah, this map for me, honestly, I'd give it an S. I mean, I think this.
I gotta say, for this map, the whole what I said what I like about a map is I like a map that's consistent and you can go from one spot to another spot easily. This map, you can get to every spot on this map in like 2 different ways. It feels like this map is super consistent. It's easy to get around. You can use the teleporters to use a different form of navigation. I think any kind of map that has a secondary form of navigation and is easy to kind of manipulate and go through is a great map. I got to give this one an S as well.
Yeah, I mean, just classic map. I mean, pretty much a perfect go-to. It's been 10 years since they made it, and it hasn't aged at all. So, and that was all of the World at War maps. Average, and then they hit a great one to end on.
Yeah, really good one, and because it got people excited for the future. Like, what's coming next?
And speaking of next,
we have the Black Ops maps. It released with Kino der Toten and 5, as well as Dead
5.
Arcade.
Yeah, 5 you had to get by beating the campaign, which not everyone did. A lot of people buy COD just to play the multiplayer and stuff. Even back then, I'm sure by now, if anybody that's played Black Ops has played the map. But we'll get to 5 in a second. Kino, they took everything that they learned from the Rees and just gave us the same thing in a different setting, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah,
It was great. There's only one teleporter, and the teleport to the Pack-a-Punch is kind of cool because the Pack-a-Punch isn't always there for you. You have to line stuff up and then like plan when you're gonna go. I kind of like that aspect to it because it's not complicated like the later maps. It's not like ridiculous.
It's simple.
But
you
it has some
you initiate a link
form
and
of
then
strategy.
you complete it, but you could plan around it with your teammates.
Exactly. The Thunder Gun. I mean, do we need to say anything more?
Yeah, it's a great gun that when you shoot it, you feel good. That's what you want out of any. That's the. What else can you ask for? A gun that feels good when you shoot it.
I would say the classic zombie song 115 for it. I mean, everyone loves it. This map is personally responsible for giving me 200,000 views on my YouTube channel. Which is a great video, by the way. I guess we can link it in the
Yeah, I'll put a
description
little annotation up or something.
So you can watch high quality images. I made it 10 years ago and and that stuff.
It hasn't aged just like Dorit.
A little bit different. Honestly, I'd give this one another S as well. I mean, it's a classic map to go back to. It's the standard iconic formula. Plenty of it's when training zombies really became a thing. And and the Nova 6 crawlers, which are annoying, but they're a good challenge. They kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah, once again, they're trying something new. And I think that, man, the trying something new is a good thing that they kept doing and just felt good. I think that the fact that there's one teleporter on this one actually was a good thing. Because the map was honestly pretty small. It wasn't like you could go like some big map. It was a nice loop. It felt good to run. The teleporter felt, because there's only one of them, it just felt consistent. Like, it was just like... It's always there. There's always a one teleporter. You always plan around it to go as a team to take the teleporter, and then you get like a little break when you're pack-a-punching, which is nice. You don't always have to be fighting and worrying about keeping your teammates alive while they're getting stuff. It's like if you coordinate, then everybody can go and everybody can take a break. Everybody can pack their guns, and then if you could find maybe a max ammo or maybe a carpenter in that one secondary room that you sometimes go to, which is a really cool
Yeah.
little thing that they gave.
It
The whole
expanded on the story, and that's something we didn't talk about with Deriz. I mean, they really hit hard with like Easter eggs. It wasn't like a walkthrough Easter egg kind of thing yet. They weren't really touching on those yet with these maps, but there was just these little glimpses here and there on the story that they were trying to build, which I thought is very interesting. So, what would you put it? I said S.
Man, yeah, you say S. I mean, the thing is, I've played it so much and I've always had a really good time on it. I just I wish it was maybe a little bit bigger almost, or maybe I just played it so much. I think A tier.
You want to give it an A? I'll give it
Yeah.
an A.
Okay, I think A tier, but man, I did play it a lot, and it's an extremely good map, and I found so many unique ways to run it and different challenges that self-implemented, with ballistic knives only, like until round 50, crazy stuff.
Yeah. So far they've hit the ground running and they've only gone up, and now we have 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple things about 5.
All right, what's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of 5?
Gun guy.
Gun guy. Yeah.
I don't know his name. I know he has a name. That's the first thing that I think of. Gun guy and John F. Kennedy. Now playing as those guys, kind of cool. A cool idea. Another deal where you finish the campaign and then it loads you into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, nobody knew 5 was coming out. So everyone knew about Kino. So when you beat this and then were rewarded with another map, that was cool. It's just the map was kind of dog shit.
I think the map, they're introducing mechanics. They wanted to do multi-level to where people could be playing on different things and you progress through it and you get to explore the Pentagon. Key issues with that. Elevators are inconsistent.
Inconsistent as hell.
Because if it's called up or you go to the elevator and it's not there when you run to it because someone else called it up or something, you're just out of luck. You're just totally screwed.
Yeah.
Then there's 2 elevator systems. On top of that, there is these teleporters that just randomly teleport you places.
There's only like one teleporter that's reliable, and that's bad. When there's so many teleporters, it gets confusing. It's very tight. There's no wide open spaces, so it's very hard to run a train, which isn't a bad thing. It's challenging. If you can do it, you're good.
Yeah.
But for the casual player, this map was a nightmare. So that's why when the game came out, everyone was playing Kino, and this map got left in the dust.
Yeah, I'm not a casual player. I think of myself as extremely good at zombies. I
would like to say the same.
In the starting room of the hallway next to the elevator. I could run it really consistently and get to high ranks, high levels. But man, when the gun guy came, nothing felt worse than trying to get your gun back or trying to prevent him from taking your gun while you're going through these inconsistent teleporters, and he is invisible. Why is he invisible for some people? I don't know.
It's if he hasn't attacked you yet, or if he's not going for you, you don't see him. You just see like the little numbers thing.
The logic behind that is non-existent to me.
So it's still a fun map though. It's not awful. It doesn't make me like hate playing it. So for that, I don't really want to give it an F tier. I think E tier is probably appropriate. What do you think?
Map makes me want to kill myself, but I will give it an E tier because I did play it a lot, and that the thing about it is, if you were good, getting in those tight quarters and making those saves, and then sometimes you would get those really lucky teleports where it would get you just where you wanted to go to get away from the zombies, and those felt really hype. But
they were very
man,
satisfying.
When it's inconsistent, you just want a reliable teleporter is all you want. That's all you can ask for from a game like this.
After this is Deadlift Arcade, which we already discussed. We're not putting it on here. For the first DLC. So they were really good, and then they kind of fumbled with 5, but holy shit, then they came out with Ascension.
Ascension, I probably have the most hours on Ascension, even though it was a DLC.
Ascension is the shining image of what everything a DLC should represent.
Yes.
I can't come up with the words because there's so many new things about the map that work so well. The introduction of the monkeys. You have to be so coordinated when it comes to those if you want that extra perk. And the flopper.
Let's talk about the introduction. Like you said, this map feels like a work of art. You come in, you're flying down. So first of all, you get to look around at the map and say, "Oh, what is everything? What's all around me?" And then the screen goes black and white, and you're like, "What is happening?" And then you see the thing stop spinning, so then you know, that can spin. And now you're interested in everything. So you're
Yeah.
looking everywhere, you're looking all over. What's this? I see a bear with a sickle. You hit E on it. Oh, that's what I got to be looking for. That's the sound. That's the song because I heard the sound. So now I know I got to look
Hmm.
for that. Then you explore your way, find the power switch, consistent mystery box spawn. That always feels good.
Yes.
Then rewarding gameplay. It
On
reward this map.
very much.
If you're good, you will do amazing in this map. It rewards good players who think
There's
ahead.
a lot of spots to train. Like if you have a 4-man, there's a spot for everybody. A Pack-a-Punch, getting to it, it's a challenge, but if you know what you're doing, you can get to it pretty easily. Blowing up the ship, just something they didn't even need to be there, but just something that's
Mhm.
super cool. Oh, this is going back to 5. The Winner's Howl. Put that shit in F tier.
Are we moving it to F tier because the winner's howl?
Yes.
Okay, the winner's howl. Nothing felt worse than pulling the winner's howl, except whenever the next round the scientist spawns and takes it away from you.
Honestly, he was doing you a favor there.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Ascension is just a shining image of what zombies is. I mean, it's top 3 zombie maps of all time. Super hard S tier for me.
The fact that if you plan ahead and you think and you like practice it and you guys practice your runs, that you can defend every single perk while having 4 people, and so you can get everybody can get all the perks and have Pack-a-Punch, and if you're good you can defend them all. It's just rewarding good play, and that's all I could ask for. Gersh devices, super fun, unique way to get out of a sticky situation.
Mm-hmm.
Blanders, super consistent. You know what they're gonna do. You know how they're gonna work.
If you're not paying attention, you get downed when when they're coming down.
Um,
Also, it was the first like Easter egg walkthrough kind of deal,
mhm.
which was super cool. The only thing you got rewarded at the end was a 90-second death machine, but for the first walkthrough, that was pretty cool. And there was this giant fucking gorilla running around and scared the hell out of you.
Yeah,
Super fucking cool map. S tier, 100%.
easily S tier.
DLC 2 for Black Ops, Call of the Dead. This one is kind of like, I feel like this is kind of like the Outcast. Like, it's kind of like by itself when compared to all the other maps. Because you're playing as, it's a super meta map. The setting is George A. Romero, the guy that made zombies, is making a movie about zombies with these actors who are voiced by themselves. All of a sudden, real zombies come and fuck shit up. And they make George Romero a zombie. So, really meta setting and pretty cool, in my opinion. Holy shit, there are a lot of inconsistencies about this map.
Yeah.
For one, the heavy fog that rolls in every now and then.
If you're gonna make your wonder weapon a sniper rifle,
Yes.
don't make it unusable sometimes.
Yes. And the VR-11 is a fucking worthless gun that should be forgotten about entirely. And then this was the first map to kind of introduce a new type of enemy that wasn't just a zombie in the form of or like Nova 6 or anything, with a buff guy. So George. Very intimidating, but you can play around him pretty good if you know what you're doing. I will say the Easter egg for this map is super fun. They made 2 different Easter eggs. One if you're playing co-op, you can do it with co-op, and then one if you're doing a 4-man. Which you end up getting the same thing, but there's just a little bit more steps for the 4-man, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah. Also, satisfying reward.
Yeah, you get the Wonder Waff, which is sick. And if you do the Easter egg and you kill George, instead of dropping a death machine, he'll give you a Wonder Waff. Because it wasn't like a gun you could keep. It was like a death machine where you used all the ammo and then it's gone. Very interesting map, a good concept map. A lot of inconsistencies. The pathing of the water and everything, very annoying.
Yeah, I would say the map being so spread out almost wouldn't be an issue if there wasn't so many things that would slow you down. Because then it just feels difficult to get from anywhere to anywhere.
Yeah.
They
tried a lot of new things with it, and some worked, but a lot of them fell flat, I feel. So for me, I would give it a D tier.
D tier? I think that's super fair. I think a D tier is super reasonable for this map. I like the highlights that you can get from taking the zip line, and the highlights you can get from taking the big launch pad, and the highlights you can get from getting George whenever you're like, because you're messing around, you try to kill him during the zombie fight, and then you actually kill him. Oh shoot, I gotta go get the thing while they're zombies. I think those are all the fun moments that you get from zombies. Has a lot of the zombie moments. Also has a lot of the moments where you say, oh, you're dead over there, I physically cannot help you.
Yeah, exactly. Shangri-La is kind of interesting because they added a bunch of new things, but they also took away a few things.
Personally, I may get a lot of hate for this. I like the Wonder Weapon.
Okay, I grew to like it. I played it the map not too long ago, and I do actually like the Wonder Weapon. At first, I hated it. I just thought it was useless. But the design and the concept for the gun is very cool, and if you use it right, it can be executed like very depending on the player.
Yeah.
As for the map's layout, holy shit, you are gonna get lost. There is so much to it with the water spouts and the spikes coming out, and then you had more bosses with the fire zombie and the shrieker zombie. Both didn't really reward you with anything with killing them. The only thing I would say that was kind of cool was if you killed the fire zombie, like his napalm was spewed onto the ground, and it would pretty much insta kill zombies that walked over it, so you could use it to your advantage if you were playing it right.
I'm pretty sure this map invented the word inconsistency.
Yeah. The Easter egg was super fucking complicated. You didn't get there wasn't like too much in terms of rewards. I think you got some perks. I did it one time, and that was back in 2011 when it came out, so my memory's not super great on what the rewards are for that. It's a prequel to Ascension, which I thought's kind of cool, because in Ascension you all have bloody clothes, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then in this map, you guys are all clean, so you guys go from here to Ascension, which I thought was kind of cool. But all in all, just kind of a lame map. I mean, it doesn't really offer anything. Okay, the claymores that shoot spikes is kind of cool.
Yes.
But then you have the maze of mud that like throws up random walls and random paths that you have to go through.
And then the spikes that come up too to stop, to slow you down. Yeah, the mud walls, like you said, that gives you a random path that can totally screw you and make you go in a complete circle.
Yeah, and slides like
water slides,
which are kind of fun. They can be inconsistent too. Yeah, honestly, this is an E tier map for me.
E tier map. I think the Wonder Weapon design, the look of it, super cool. I think the Pack-a-Punch mechanic was cool. I thought what you do to Pack-a-Punch was honestly pretty cool.
Yeah, everyone steps on the thing.
And then the waterfall. I like how the waterfall takes you down. I think that's a cool little thing. But man, it's hard to find people that want to play this map with you.
Yeah.
And Zombies is all about playing with friends.
Exactly. All right, Moon may very well be the most hyped zombie map I've ever, of all time.
We made a video about it.
Yeah, classic video. We'll put it in the description as well. There was so much hype behind this map, and the DLC for the whole map. If you didn't already have the remastered World at War maps in Black Ops when you pre-ordered the game, you got them in this map. So you got 5 zombie maps in this map pack, which was just huge. I remember the hype behind it. I mean, everyone was excited for Moon because it was kind of like the conclusion of the story if you were following along.
Yep.
And the Easter egg is very cool. There's 2 Easter egg stories. There's like a first half and then there's a second half. And the second half ends with you blowing up Earth, which is super satisfying because you go through so much stuff to get it. And then you get all your perks, and then if you get downed and revived, you still have all the perks, which is super, super cool. The wave gun, another interesting concept that I think could have been done better. The gravity is kind of annoying, but I feel like it's necessary for the Moon.
Yeah.
But damn, are you gonna slip up a lot?
Yeah,
when floating
definitely
around.
With the gravity, especially when you accidentally break the glass in one of the rooms. That's a pain. With the wave gun, they were worried about making either of the 2 versions of it too strong, so overall it was too weak.
Yeah, the little cosmonauts that wandered around the map were kind of annoying and inconsistent because you never really knew they were there if you were not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not looking at them, you'll run into them, and then they'll grab you. They'll have their way with you, and they'll take a perk away from you and teleport you, and you will be 1 hit from dead. So
cool how they had your friend's name on it. That was a cool little
thing. Was cool, but they made no noise, so there was no way of knowing if they were there or not. Like the fire zombie, your screen lights up if you get too close. George speaks all the time, so always know where he is. This guy was kind of like a little stealth ninja, which is kind of cool. It's a challenge. I'm not really complaining about that, but damn. If you don't know what you're doing, this guy's gonna fuck you up.
I liked the challenge that this game... It gave me a lot of enjoyment, not so much literally doing the map and doing all the Easter egg, but the implication of, hey, the Pack-a-Punch is right there before you even do anything.
Yes,
so
that part is cool.
Had to Pack-a-Punch before level 1, and that was a challenge that I did, and it was so satisfying when I finished it.
It is very satisfying. And if you get jugs that spawn there, you can give yourself a huge boost, ahead of everybody, ahead of the game. The spacesuits, very cool idea and design because they're not going to go out in space because there's no oxygen out there.
Yeah.
Um, the giant fucking what do you call them? The excavators?
Oh, yep.
Very complicated. Because you have to go and hack them to stop them, and if they get through, then they fuck up that whole zone for you, and now you have to wear your spacesuit.
Yeah. Annoying. That's probably definitely a downside.
Yeah.
That's pretty annoying to deal with. The hacking was cool.
Moon was a map that had a lot of cool ideas. It introduced Mule Kick, which I thought is a great perk.
Yep.
I love Mule Kick. It's very expensive, but worth it if you know what you're doing. It felt kind of unsatisfying, to end it off with Moon, because I feel like it could have been better. But it was still very, very fun to play, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So I would give Moon a B.
I think Moon, fun map. I think the fact that it also brought all the other maps to this, and also the challenge. I mean, I spent so long. I got the Juggernog on spawn so many times, even in online matches. But the real fun was getting the pack-a-punch pistols before round 1.
All right, so we move to Black Ops 2, and we start with what probably is the biggest zombie map of all time, but also the most inconsistent, more than Shangri-La.
I'm gonna put this on the table. F tier.
I would agree with you because there was a lot of things cool that they did, but the whole build your wonder weapon thing was so ass. I hated that. I've hated that since they've done it. And the wonder weapon wasn't even that good. You know what I mean?
It doesn't feel like whenever you pull the wonder weapon from the box and it makes that sound and everyone knows you pulled it, that feels so good because you're the one that got it and everybody else is like, oh, he got lucky. This is like, you gotta like build it and they're supposed to be like satisfying because you can build it. I like stealing the wonder weapon and being the one person to have it.
Yeah. Just very inconsistent map. I could see what they were going for here. I will say, when you're playing with your friends, it can be fun to troll them and leave their ass behind on the bus, which is pretty cool. The part of the map that's a town, that map by itself, like when you just play that part of the map, that's pretty good. I like that part. It's designed very well. It's just like a subgenre of the map. The whole map is transit, or green run, or whatever the hell they call it. So yeah, I agree. F tier. Another kind of deal that came with like Black Ops, but you had to pay for this map. You had to pre-order to get it. Was Nuketown. In theory, a great idea. The whole aesthetic of Nuketown is super cool because the bomb had already gone off. Like there was a giant mushroom cloud in the sky. What I hated about this map is they didn't add to it. It's the same Nuketown or whatever, that you couldn't go to any of the other houses, which I feel like in a zombie map, that exception should have been there. And there are so many spots for the zombies to spawn. It's so hard to run a train on this map because they can spawn through the ground anywhere. It's so inconsistent. Very cool idea. The perks problem with this map is there's like one perks machine at a time, and it like changes every 5 rounds. So you're looking at possibly not getting jugged till like round 25. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I never played it, but that certainly doesn't sound fun.
All that being said, it is still kind of cool to play zombies on Nuketown in an official map. So I would give it an E.
Okay, that sounds fair.
We're skipping Die Rise because we wanted to include all the maps that would be either F tier or above. That map. That fucking map is not to be named. Alright. Mob of the Dead. Another deal where it was kind of like the Outcast, kind of like Call of the Dead, because it didn't really follow the story that they were going for. Super fucking cool map, I gotta say. Like, before I had a complaint with the building thing, but building a plane to fly to the Golden Gate Bridge, when you did it, it was so fucking satisfying. It had a cool jump scare if you looked in the sky with a sniper rifle. The Warden, kind of annoying and kind of scary, but you could deal with him if you know what you're doing. The whole aesthetic of the map is very cool. There's plenty of places to train, and again, there's plenty of places to get caught if you're not paying attention. The whole Alcatraz theme is super cool for me.
I love the guns. I love the gun. The gun sandbox in that lab.
It brings back a few like of the old time guns. Yeah. It's got Johnny Cash playing, which is always a win. Super cool map for me. I'd honestly give this, definitely, in my opinion, Black Ops 2's best map. I'm giving this map an A.
Oh, an A. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have to say B, but if you want to give it an A, we can put it in the A tier.
I haven't played it in a little bit. I would like to.
The thing that I think it brings it up for me is I didn't like the ghost mechanic that much.
It's confusing. I'll say that. Once you got it down, it was you kind of understood it. But the ghost mechanic is confusing. But I love the map. Barry didn't play a lot of this map. The whole again with the settings, super cool idea with the Wild West, and you had that big guy that you had to run around and destroy shit. Although it was kind of annoying to find alcohol for him to get mad, and you can waste it, which I didn't know the first few times. And if you give it to him, he doesn't automatically go to the nearest blockade to break. He'll just turn and run into a wall, and then it gets wasted. Super annoying. They did add the ray gun Mark II, which I thought was super cool. It's like a little rifle ray gun, and it had the little witches in the mansion, which gave you a little scare. It was more of the deal where you were just building shit that wasn't satisfying. I would probably give this map a D.
Oh, D tier.
Did you play Origins?
I watched gameplay. I never played Origins.
Origins was big because it was the return of the iconic characters, but they were like different characters than what they were. It's a World War I setting, which is pretty cool. You got like the trenches and everything. You got these giant fucking robots walking around. They will fuck you up if you're not paying attention. The Easter egg is very complicated and convoluted, but I've never done it. I've seen what happens when you do complete it, and it's pretty cool, but still very complicated. You can ride around on that little tank thing, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of things in this map that are done very well. It was the last map for Black Ops 2, and I think it went out on a pretty good note. It was the first time you didn't spawn with an M1911, and there wasn't just one power switch. You had to like charge up all these little generators to give powers to the part of the map. The weapons were your standard Black Ops weapons mixed with like Black Ops 2, or Black Ops 2 mixed with Black Ops and stuff, but a pretty cool ending. I would give it a C.
Really, that high?
Mm-hmm. The map is fun. There's a lot of spots where it's like muddy, and I mean it's inconsistencies there, but
interesting curve we made. It's a pretty consistent curve with what you'd expect.
I like how the last few maps was just me because you didn't play them.
I just didn't play them.
I thought you did play Mob of the Dead.
I played Mob of the Dead. I didn't like the ghost part of it. I didn't like having to go to that and then worry about going and jumping and doing some jumps and hitting something.
That's the whole point. You're a ghost. It's scary.
Well, this is our tier list. If you disagree with anything, well, number 1, fuck you. Number 2, leave a comment down below what you think we messed up on or any things we forgot to talk about.
And that's basically, I'm thinking the same. After this, Black Ops Zombies got like way too fucking complicated for me to care about. With like little gumdrop machines and fucking
yeah. Does someone want to explain
bullshit?
The gumdrop? What is that? Does someone want to explain that?
They're like added little perks that can give you little bonuses for a short period of time. Like they could either last 3 minutes, they could last 20 minutes, they could last like 30 seconds. Pay for them? No, from what I understand, no. But I don't really have
like loot boxes
the best knowledge of them. Subscribe if you want to see more. My name's Golden Yeti.
This is fuck, I don't even remember. Guy at 1.
And peace out.